It's almost like when you're making a video game and you actually listen to the community that you're making that game for, the game comes out pretty good. People enjoy your game. Who would have thought? Honestly, I kind of feel like Albert Einstein the way that I'm brainstorming over here. How's it going, everybody? I'm CloudRaids and welcome back to another video. This might be the first time you're seeing me. Well, if so, welcome to my video and welcome to the channel. Today's topic, boys and girls, we're going to be talking about that good old Battlefield 6. Because recently I had the opportunity to play the open beta and man, am I glad that I did. Because to be honest with you, it's a pretty fun game. But just because it's a fun game doesn't mean there's not things that they could fix. Because let's face it, no game is perfect. So let's talk about some of the pros about this game, just some stuff that I really love about Battlefield 6. And at the same time, let's talk about some of the cons and some stuff that I really think that they could fix to just make it a better experience overall. But with all that being said, let's just get into the video because I'm pretty excited to talk about this. To start things off, I think I should preference that when it comes to the Battlefield games of recent, I have been nothing but disappointed. And that is coming from somebody who bought the $100 version of Battlefield 2042. I really don't want to talk about it. It honestly kind of hurts to this day. And the only reason that I even bring this up is just so you guys know that I'm not some Battlefield fanboy. I'm not going to overly glaze Battlefield 6 or EA in general because they've done me pretty dirty in the past. So it's safe to say that my expectations for Battlefield 6 were pretty freaking low. But that being said, Battlefield 6 blew me out the water. Battlefield 6 was able to scratch an itch that no other game has been able to scratch in a very long time. And honestly, it's quite shocking how long this took to happen, because if you think about it, Battlefield 6 is a great game, but it's nothing crazy. It's quite literally just what people have wanted, the bare minimum when it comes to an FPS game. And I mean that in the best way possible. I'm not dogging on Battlefield 6 when I say that, because just think about it like this, right? If you're making a first-person shooter game, who would have thought if you give them good guns, good maps, an actual good connection to the servers, people are gonna love your game? It's crazy that in 2025, that just seems revolutionary. It's almost like when you're making a video game and you actually listen to the community that you're making that game for, the game comes out pretty good. People enjoy your game. Who would have thought? Honestly, I kind of feel like Albert Einstein the way that I'm brainstorming over here. See, I knew I was too smart when I needed 2 teachers in my classroom. My brain was too big, so they made the bus smaller. At this point, maybe I should just be in charge of EA. Let me make the games. But in all seriousness, there is a lot to love about this game. Whether it's the maps, the guns, or the community itself, overall, this game was pretty fun. And I hope they keep up the good work. I had an interaction with my squad mate where it felt like it was American Sniper all over again. I was sniping, he was watching my back, we were talking, he even dragged me through the smoke to pick me up. Honestly, I love that feature. Being able to drag and revive your teammate or pick up your teammate is one of the funnest things to do in this game. I just wish people would pick me up more often, but that might be some copium. Another thing that I really like about this game is the destruction. In the trailer of Battlefield 6, they show everything just being destroyed. And well, you can quite literally destroy almost anything and everything in this game, for better or for worse. And honestly, that leads into one of my biggest problems with this game, in my opinion, and it's the fact that it's so hard to see anything for almost half the match. And this is partly due to the destruction of everything, because half the time a building will collapse right next to you, or it'll collapse somewhere in front of you, and it just makes it super hard to see. Because as those buildings are falling down or getting destroyed, tons of dust is just getting thrown up into the air, making it extremely difficult to see anybody. And if it's not the buildings collapsing, then it's the smokes that everybody and their moms are throwing. And if it's not the smokes, then it's the tanks shooting in front of you or shooting near you, which again is just kicking up dirt and dust into the air, I guess. I'm not even totally sure. It just gets a little frustrating after a while, especially after you keep trying to switch positions and no matter where you look, it's just hard to see. Makes you feel like you're Stevie Wonder out there on the battlefield. You can't see anything, but you hear it all going down, which makes it a little scarier, I guess, because you don't know what's about to happen. But God, does it get annoying sometimes. Another thing that I really do like about this game is how each role feels really impactful. A lot of times you'll see on these role-based games that some people just don't like playing certain roles, and sometimes that might end up being the case for Battlefield 6. But from what I've seen, and in my opinion, each role has a lot of impact on how the outcome of the game is. A lot of times with games like this, a certain role ends up being neglected and it's just not as fun to play. Most of the time that is the support role no matter what game you are. But even as a support on Battlefield 6, it is still really fun to play. And it just feels really rewarding no matter what role you pick. My personal favorite role has to be the scout role. I love using the snipers. I love being able to pick off the enemies as they're coming to the front line to fight my teammates. And I love being able to pinpoint locations positions and help our teammates see where they are, because like I said before, the smoke and the debris makes it really hard to see almost anything. There's just something so satisfying about sniping in this game, especially compared to other FPS games. But at the same time, going against a lot of snipers can be so goddamn annoying, but if you can't beat them, you might as well join them. Speaking of guns, something I think could be tweaked a little bit is the recoil, because it feels like recoil sometimes is just non-existent in this game. Getting beamed from far away with an assault rifle as a sniper is just devastating sometimes. It's not the worst in the world, but the recoil is super easy. So I don't want to say there's no recoil, but it's just not a lot. And once you get the attachments on there, it's even less. Taking a step back from the gunplay side of things, can we talk about the menu UI for a second? Because while it's not terrible, it's not great either. It's just kind of eh. And honestly, it's just kind of ugly. I've seen people comparing it to like streaming app UIs, and they're not wrong. And the same kind of goes for the loadout UI. In my opinion, I just don't think it's that good. And it's not the fact that it's overly complicated or anything like that. I just think it's ugly. It reminds me of Call of Duty's Blacksmith, and I was never a real big fan of that either. But at the end of the day, that's just me nitpicking. The UI in this game isn't terrible, and it could definitely be a lot worse. I have really high hopes for this game, man, because I dare say that this game could be generational. The same way that we look at Black Ops 2 and Battlefield 4 and 3 could be the same way that kids nowadays look at Battlefield 6 in the future. This game can be that good. While the game itself is really good, the fate of the game in general does rely on the devs' ability to keep their word, because they have been saying that there's not going to be any crazy skins and that the servers are going to be great when the game comes out. They're saying that they learned from Call of Duty. How true that is, I don't know. It wouldn't be the first time that a video game dev has lied to us. I've seen plenty of good games get killed off in the middle of the game's life cycle because the devs have decided to do some stupid stuff that nobody asked for, and I really hope this doesn't happen with Battlefield 6. I hope the devs continue to listen to the player base and take feedback and use that feedback instead of being insulted and blaming the player base, which sadly happens more than you would think. Like I said, I hope this isn't the case, but it's hard not to be a little weary when it's been happening for years now. With plenty of these hot garbo boo-boo games being put out on the market by these big companies, it's hard not to feel a little worried. But who knows? We'll see. But with all that being said, that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed the video, maybe leave a like, but if you loved it, maybe subscribe. I won't push on it anymore. I'll let you decide. But either way, I do love you guys, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I don't know what time it is there, so maybe have a great night too. But until next time, mwah!